further away. So every time you got XRP at $3 and change, you have Stellar at like a penny making the exact same move. So from a fundamental and a technical charting point, I would say Stellar, only because if whatever attracted you to Ripple and you like its price movement, Stellar has the same thing. Fundamentally, one of the oldest banks in the world just adopted their blockchain, and a few other people, different organizations around the world are trying to work with their project to see if it can get it off the ground. Bitcoin say, what else you got?
Yeah, that's pretty much most of it. They have decentralized exchanges, the ability to to send money back and forth via the banking system, like you said, the oldest one. So it is like Ripple's little brother, little cousin, if you want to say. Jim McCaleb heads up that project. So something to look at if you were looking at something other than Ripple or XRP.
Okay, so one question I'd like to ask you guys before we get to the questions from the students. If you have a question, put it in the Q&A section. If it's in the chat, there's a lot going on in the chat. So put it specifically in the Q&A section and make it one sentence so the brothers can answer as many questions as possible. If you could do that, we'd appreciate that. But I want to ask you this. You mentioned that the eggs in the basket, that Bitcoin was the basket, everything else was an egg. What does that say about your preference toward Bitcoin? Is there something, because I picked up on this idea that Bitcoin, that there's something about Bitcoin where it's almost like it's a gateway to the other currencies. It seems like Bitcoin is kind of the big boss, and the other coins are spinoffs on some level. Can you explain that to us in terms of why Bitcoin is so important for you in the whole blockchain cryptocurrency conversation? I'll start with you, Isaiah, and then to you, King.
So whenever you look at other cryptocurrencies from a speculative nature, which most have been, because most have not, proven or built the projects that they've said, they're speculative. So when you look at their speculation, you're saying they're valuable in what terms? In a liquid asset. And those two liquid assets right now are USD and Bitcoin. Because we're moving away from USD, I feel as though Bitcoin being the basket, that is the goal. Using these projects to earn either more of that coin or more of Bitcoin, so to say, in Bitcoin value, because if we're moving towards a global reserve, and that's Bitcoin's goal, everything else has their reasons. Ethereum is not trying to be a global reserve. It's trying to be a smart contract platform that allows people to transact using NFTs, using decentralized finance, things of that nature. It's not going for the same goal. Just as derivatives, investing, stocks, they're not trying to be USD. The goal is to earn more USD. Just as these cryptocurrencies, the goal is not to be the global reserve. The goal is to earn more of that global reserve, which is Bitcoin. So you start there, you go into different areas, because I do not want to make it feel like that's the end all be all. There's so much in the space. We have NFTs, like I said, decentralized finance. You have the ability to go into other cryptocurrencies like Monero for privacy, Binance for utility. So again, that is the entry point. That is the starting point. And for beginners, the only reason I start with that for beginners, most other coins are for traders. 98% fail rate over a 10-year span. Bitcoin, over the last 12 years, 99.8% success rate. That's why I start beginners there. And then if you want to venture out, that's fine.
Okay. King Bless, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so for most part, about the same. One thing I really want to hone in is what he said as far as Bitcoin is an investment, right? The altcoins are trade, like for traders. I don't think people really grasp that, because all they see is the parabolic rises. But when you see these parabolic rises, people ask yourself, how long have you been paying attention to it? How long have you been in the market? Because in this market, quote from Bitcoin Zay, which is very true, I've seen over the years, you will make 80% of your money in this market 20% of the time. So times like right now are the 20% times, are the 80% times. The last 2 years, we were just in a bear market, right? So for everybody who held on to those altcoins during this bear market were pummeled. Even worse, our last week on our show, Talk Shop Live, Bitcoins, they actually pulled up, because we were talking about how the top 10 coins always change, but people want to know it just looking at it now. He was pulling up random dates from 2016, random dates from 2017, random dates from 2014, random dates from 2018. And that top 10, with the exception of Bitcoin and Ethereum, continuously changes. I mean, even from 2 weeks ago to right now, the top 10 is drastically different. So again, if you're in the altcoins, people, you're turning yourself into a trader, which is fine, but you need to be reading and doing your due diligence all the time. Because if that altcoin project, for whatever reason, if all the developers on that project say, hey, we're done working on it and we're going to go to somewhere else, which they have done after pumps,